Welcome to the Live Wide Open podcast. I'm your host, Randy B. Ramirez, also known as Wide Open Randy, and I'm here to lead you to become the best version of yourself. This show helps raise the bar for all the motorsport enthusiasts. Holding it wide open is just what we do. Being a great person is who we are, and living our lives to the fullest is the lifestyle that we choose. Today, we're going to be diving into how embracing your true fucking passion for riding, like riding motorcycles, it's really just the best way to go about it, my friend. Right? Like if you truly love to fucking ride, if you truly love motorcycles, if you truly feel that you have a connectional attachment, a connection, and a bond with them, then fucking let it fuel your life. Let it be who you are. Like don't try to hide it. Don't try to like be fake. Like use it to fuel you to become the next level that you're trying to become, to be the best man that you can become, right? Like many people, and the reason why today's episode came to mind was really because I was having lunch the other day with two high level executives, right? And so I'm working on a big opportunity. I don't want to get too deep into, but I was having lunch with two high end executives, and this opportunity is going to come to fruition. I know this opportunity is going to come to mine, and once it is, I will fucking share it. I've really been working hard on making this happen, and I have faith, and God has been blessed to be putting this. God has blessed me to put these opportunities in my life, and I'm super thankful. I'm super grateful, and it's all because I have evolved into the man I am today. Right? You see, years back, if they would have asked me about my writing, if they would have asked me about my passions, like I would have lied about it, right? Like, because I was around people that like really condone that. Like they're like, oh, those motorcycle guys, or oh, those race car guys, right? And I let it feed into me to the point where I let it like like dull my identity of who I was really inside, right? And then what happened is that led into me being unfulfilled. That led into me being fake. That led into me not embracing who I truly was at my core. Embracing my fucking passion for motorcycles and for riding and letting it shine and using that to become the best version of myself, right? Like back then I wouldn't do that. And nowadays, like I just leaned into it, right? Like I let it fuel me. Like, I let it, when the topic came about, like I let it just be me, and I let the passion that I have for motorcycles just fuel the conversation, and let it just shine through my eyes and through my emotions, and share really the reason why I like to ride, why I see myself riding for a long time, why I embrace what I do as a motorcycle enthusiast, as a stunt rider, as someone who loves all type of motorcycles, right? Like I embraced it, like, and I used my fuel that I have for that passion that I have for it, that connection, that emotional bond that I feel that I genuinely have pumping through my veins, through my blood, through my soul, is who the fuck I am, to really just show that, yeah, it's who I am, right? Like I don't hide it anymore. It's what I do, right? And I will never stop doing it. It's actually, and I use it to show others that has made me who I am today, right? And so when you come into these conversations in your life, just because you're trying to evolve, just because you're trying to hang around higher end people, just because you're trying to get your family into another bracket, into another level, because you're trying to grow, and maybe those people might not vibe with that, like don't dull who you are. Don't hide it. That's only gonna lead to being unfulfilled. That's only gonna lead to you being fake. Use it to fuel yourself and show them your true colors, and fucking show them who the fuck you really are. Show them that you're a good man, that you have morals, that you have principles, that you have character, that you have fucking integrity, that you value relationships, that you value being a good person, right? That you're a man of honor, that you're a man who wants to be a role model, that you're a man that shows up and does what he fucking says he's gonna do, right? And so my true question to you is, if this is vibing with you, right? And you also feel this passion, if you also feel this connection for motorcycles, like, why is it that you ride? right? Like, why do you ride? Like, I could tell you and I'll share with you why I ride, right? And I generally believe that it runs in my blood. It's just pulsing in me. Like it's who I am. Like man, you see, like back when I was even a little kid, before I could even ride, like man, my parents would tell me stories all the time that I had this imaginary motorcycle, right? I was a little kid and I would have this imaginary motorcycle and I would start it up and I would and I would make noises and I would run through everywhere, pretending like I was riding my motorcycle. And like that started when I was young, before I couldn't even remember that, right? It's just who I was. And it all relates to me tying it back to my family, right? Having family ties that so happened that everyone in my family rode motorcycles, right? Like, man, I have pictures of my mom riding motorcycles. Like, and it's funny because she for a long time tried to get me away from them. And I'll share in a little bit why. But then I see these pictures. I'm like, yo, mom, what the fuck? Like, look at you riding a motorcycle. She was riding 1000 too. Like, I was like, yo, this is fucking crazy. Right. And so my family ties with it. My father to this day still rides. And he's like, you know, 70? I was here trying to remember how old my dad is, but fuck, he's already 70? No. Yeah, I think he's like 70, 71. I fucking don't remember exactly right now, and fucking sucks, but it is what it is. So it goes in my family, right? It rides like people like growing up. You know, we all rode like my all my brothers rode, and as a matter of fact, the reason why my mom didn't want me to ride for a long time is because it's an unfortunate accident. One of my older brothers, like through my dad's side, he passed away on a motorcycle, and that really fucked us up as a family, right? Um, that really like caused some drama, and like not drama but like some dark times in our family when you lose someone, a loved one, especially to something to where our whole family bonds with and vibes and we share a connection with each other of, right? You see, like for us, writing is like an outlet for disconnecting of what's going on all around us, right? Like, you think my father would still ride to this day as let's just say as an early 70-year-old, if he didn't have a passion for it after losing one of his sons to a motorcycle accident? Like, no, this shit is who he was, and I'm sure he had to work through a lot of mental barriers and to be able to get back on a motorcycle, right? And but it's who we are, it's how we thrive, right? Like literally, it's throttle therapy for our soul, right? And I say throttle therapy because you ain't gotta ride to know that motorcycles have a throttle, right? They don't have you don't push the gas with your feet, like you twist that with your hand the throttle, and so that's throttle therapy for our soul. It's fucking literally like an emotional decompression for us when you go ride. Like, and I say this all the time now, especially that I don't fucking drink anymore. Like, a gallon of gasoline is way more fun than a gallon of booze. I've proven that time and time again in my life right now through this fucking phase that I'm in, right? And I would rather go ride than go fucking drink. Like, for me, that's always what I loved. Even back then when I was drinking, like, years back, it's crazy that I could say years back, like wow, squirrel. Like, man, I would prefer to go ride, to go hit the lot, to go practice on a Friday night rather than to go to the fucking bar and hang out and fucking get wasted. It just wasn't my thing. I might have a couple beers at the lot, but I would rather go ride. Like, for me, a gallon of gasoline is way more fun than a gallon of booze, and I've experienced that, and I live by that, right? And so that's why I ride, because I feel like I have an emotional bond, an emotional connection. It runs in my fucking blood. It's my emotional outlet from everything that's going on, so that I can go get in tune with myself and come back and crush it in life, come back and crush it in business, come back and crush it in everything that I have. And now I use that as fuel to get better, and I don't hide it anymore, right? In that meeting that I was having with two high level executives, like they asked me about it, right? And then one of the guys like follows me on it on my Instagram, and he was the one actually who brought it up. He's like, "Oh, this guy's he's pretty wild. He rides motorcycles." And then the other exec was like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm not really too into that." And then the guy was like, "No. He rides. Like, he really rides. Like, he does wheelies. He does circles." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, And then like I saw he was really kind of vibing with it, and then I was like, why don't I think like, yes, this is what I do. Like, for a minute I had some hesitation on it. I was like, no, bro. Like, this is who I am. And I just leaned into it. And I just started explaining what I do and how I do it and why I do it, right? And then it just evolved, and they saw my passion for it, my fuel for it, and that provided for a meaningful conversation, and it was a great icebreaker that we had to a great fucking meeting, right? And then that leads me to the next topic of how you ride, right? Like riding, we all ride in different manners and different forms and different ways, right? But what I can share that we all need to have in common is that fucking safety first, right? And when I say safety first, like I'm talking about your gear, right? Because if in safety in general, like I push my limits, it could be like, oh, that's unsafe, right? But to others, that could be safe. And for me, it's a controlled environment. It's a controlled chaos that I put myself in, right? How I push the limits. So a lot of people be like, oh, what you doing in wheelies and all that's not safe. And I'd be like, oh, what you guys do hauling ass and racing, that might not be safe. I don't like to really haul ass that much. I like to more like do tricks and stuff like that. But so safety is like in general terms, right? It's on a self perspective type of basis. But safety in general, as far as your gear, man, like you gotta always have a helmet on, and at minimum, you always gotta have riding gloves on, right? Like gloves are super important because when you go down, and I say when because it's not if you're gonna go down, it's when you're gonna go down, and if you ride long enough, right? You know that this is gonna happen, right? And I ran into people that like, they get all cocky, and I was like, oh, I don't go down, oh, I'll never go down, and I was like, oh, you obviously haven't been riding long enough, right? Like like you think I've wanted to go down? You think that I've wanted to have these accidents? You think I've wanted to break my scapula? You think I wanted to break my rib cage and puncture my lungs both sides on separate occasions? You think I wanted to fucking break my tib and fib and bone pop out and all that shit? Like, bro, I've had multiple accidents, and every single time I didn't want to go down, right? And it's an accident. The reason why it's called an accident, you push the limits far enough, and you're gonna find them, right? And so when you go down, your instinct is to put your hands out, right? To protect yourself. And if you don't have your fucking gloves at a minimum, you're gonna scrape the shit out of your hands. And the hand is what you use to do everything, right? You can imagine having your hands scraped, you can't even fucking wipe your own ass. Like that's crazy, right? And so at a minimum, safety gear, my friend, if you're riding, when you're riding, helmet and gloves at a minimum, right? Like and I will say this, a full face helmet too. Like, cause nowadays you see all these guys, like, man, and that's you, whatever. But I hope this fires in something in you to fucking change that way. Like with these little half helmets, like and shit. Like, man, when you go down and your fucking face hits the cement, the floor, like you're gonna not have a face, right? And so put a fucking full face helmet on, right? Have yourself protected, like your mind, your brain, like that's what fucking helps you go through life. So protect that shit. So minimum a helmet, for sure riding gloves, and then jeans. If you want to throw some jeans on, for sure, I definitely recommend you throwing some jeans on. I used to not be big on high tops, but after one of my accidents that I was wearing some high tops and my leg fucking scrape, and it scraped the high top to the point where if I wouldn't have had it, it would have scraped my whole fucking ankle off. Yo, I always ride in. I do my best to ride in high tops, right? High tops, jeans, gloves, helmet, and a jacket is definitely a must. But I'll be transparent as fuck. I don't always ride with my jacket. Actually, my last jacket that I have, the good one that I had, is all ripped from my accident when I broke my scapula, and I haven't bought another one. It's always hot as fuck here in Miami. So if it's cold, I'll throw a sweater on or whatever, or a long sleeve. Um, but at minimum, you have to have some safety gear. Always a fucking helmet, full face helmet, and always some gloves at a minimum. Long pants, high tops, long sleeve or a jacket. It's definitely a plus with you, right? And so that's your safety gear for yourself, right? As you're riding, right? And what about your bike safety gear, right? And because if you have these motorcycles, cost a lot of money, right? At a minimum, put some fucking sliders on your bike. Sliders are these little pegs that you put on the engine mounts, and they're little pucks that they stick out. So once the bike goes down, kind of lays over on that, and it helps protect the bike. You could start with that. You could put some race rails, which are a little more beefier. It goes to the frame. Or you can go fucking full blown out and have a stunt cage, which that will protect your investment the most, right? These motorcycles are expensive. 5, 10, 15, $20,000 fucking investments into your happiness. And I call it an investment because if you truly have the passion for riding, then that shit is an investment into your happiness. That shit is an investment into your well-being. That shit is an investment into your throttle therapy sessions, right? So protect your investment, protect your bike. Not only protect yourself, but protect your bike, Like on my 1000, like for a while, I only had little sliders on it, right? And now I was like, yo, I've been fucking pushing the limits pretty hard on that. And so now I have some race rails on it. And I know that if the bike goes down, it's gonna be protected as much as it can, right? And so on my stunt bike, on my Cowie, I have a full stunt cage, right? And so that gets thrown around. If I jump off and I throw it from a trick, it gets, it gets protected more so than ever, right? And really, just as you progress and evolve as a rider, you gotta make sure that you sustain these principles, right? Because it happens to the best of us. You start really getting good, and you start thinking, "Oh, I don't need this. I'm good." Like start getting cocky and all this shit. And you gotta stay humble. You gotta understand that anything can go wrong at any point in time. And I've actually seen accidents when it's not even the guy that's fault. It's not even your fault. Someone falls in front of you, bomb, and you're like get caught in the mix, and bomb, you fall too, and then you get fucked up. It actually happened to my wife. My wife was riding with some group. A girl in front of her fell. My wife didn't have no time to react, and bam! And fucking she hit the front brake and hit us. She was like, "Oh, I didn't stop you, babe." It was crazy, and she fucking flipped and she fell and she fucking got all scraped up, and because of the other rider that fell in front of her. And so, um, and it's funny because she was riding and she had a jacket at that time and she didn't wear a jacket. And I was giving her a little bit of shit for not wearing her jacket, but I understand it's hot, and all that. And so, man, as you progress as a rider, as you evolve as a rider, as your capabilities grow, as your skill grows, know that you got to stay humble. Shit can go wrong at any point in time. So don't disregard your safety and your bike safety, man. Protect your investment, right? And then really the last topic that I wanted to go over is something that came up at the meeting as we were wrapping up that motorcycle topic, right? And transitioning into really why we were there to have, I was having that meeting with those two high level executives, is that they're like, oh, but, and this really came from the guy who didn't ride at all, right? Like he was like, oh, but just wait till you have kids and you'll stop riding, right? And like kept making comments like that, and I was like, no, I was like, as a matter of fact, like when I have kids, like we'll probably ride even more, like like kids will not hold me back from riding. This is who I am. This is in my blood. That's when they were really seeing my passion for this. I was like, this is in my family. I was like, as a matter of fact, when I have kids, like I'm not gonna stop riding. I'm gonna ride with them, right? I'm gonna buy them little motorcycles, and then we're gonna bond. Like for me, and this isn't my family. Like my kids, unless that's like what they want to do. Like I don't plan to put my kids in football or soccer or baseball or any of that shit. We're gonna fucking go to the track. We're gonna go to do some motocross. We're gonna go ride some motorcycles. We're gonna like bond with as a motorsport enthusiast, right? This is who I am. This is who I am at my core. Like I know that when I bring my kids home, when God blesses my family with that opportunity, when we come home from the hospital, I'm gonna go take them to the garage. I'm gonna turn on the 1000. It's like let them feel the rumble, let them hear the noise. Like I'm. This is what bonds our family together. So when I have kids, no, I'm not gonna fucking stop riding. I'm gonna evolve and I'm gonna teach them everything that I love, and so that we can have a connection. And then he's like, oh, but what if you have girls? I was like, even if I have girls, it'll be the same thing. And I explained to him, my wife rides too. My wife has a motorcycle too. This is who we are. This is what we love, right? And then so like we were just talking, and he was really noticing my passion. He's like, all right, I get it. Like, no, man, I respect that, and I value that, and I look up to that. That you have such a strong connection, and you know where you're going, right? He's like, all right. He's like, oh, but we all get old at some point. You're gonna have to give that up. And I was like, no. I was like, man, when I get old, man, I don't plan to stop riding. Like, in fact, like my retirement plan is to go fucking riding, right? And I gave him the example of my father. My father is early 70s, right? And then and I've been saying that this whole time, and I'm trying to put together his statement. It's like stays in my head, like, ah. But yeah, his early 70s, right? And he still rides to this day. He had a Harley. He had to give up the Harley because Harley got really heavy, and his wife didn't want to jump on the back with him anymore. So now he rides a Can-Am, a three-wheeler, but he still rides. He still gets around. He loves motorcycles. It fuels us. Every time we go and we talk about him, like I could see the passion in his eyes, and he gets all hyped, and like he's like, yeah, the motorcycles, and like this is just who we are. So when I get old, I want to stop riding. And I explained to him, I was like, riding is my retirement plan, man. Like by then, we'll probably have some fucking badass Harleys. My wife will have one too, and we're gonna go cruise the nation and fucking, go ride through canyons and doing all this as a family. And hopefully by then my kids will be grown and we'll be riding with them too. Like have a big RV and go in and do this. And like, and this is why I wanted to share today. What I shared is because lean into who you are. Like use it as fuel. Use it as a way to express yourself and to not hide what you truly love. Show what you love, show your passion, and use it to show people that you're a fucking good man. Yeah, you might have some wild, hobbies and adrenaline seeking activities, but that doesn't make you a bad person. In fact, that makes you a great fucking man. That makes you fucking want to evolve. That makes you want to get better. That makes you have fucking good character, have strong integrity. Like, be a good role model for your family, right? Like, use it as fuel to take your life to the next level, right? And so, as we wrap up this episode, I'm going to leave you with one question, right? Is, when was the last time that you went out for some throttle therapy, right? When was the last time that you went out for a ride? When was the last time that you turned on your motorcycle? Like, when was the last time, like, that you went out and just embraced and got just lost in the wind, for a word's sake, like, and just vibed with your machine, right? And then my challenge for you today really is no matter how long it's been, right? Schedule some time in your calendar right now. Like, pull out your phone, like, and say, oh, this week, I'm gonna ride, or on Friday, or on Saturday, or maybe today, right now. When I get out of work, I'm gonna go ride. I'm gonna go out for a cruise, right? Like put that shit on your calendar, because if you don't put it on your calendar, it's never gonna really get done, right? And then my final thought, I always like to like end things with a little quote or a final thought or something that comes from the heart and from the soul to be able to share and close these things out is that you really know that I love motorsports, right? Like, I've shared that with you throughout this whole journey, right? This is 176 episodes deep, and I've vibed I've vowed to just be who I am and to not hide anymore, and to use it to fuel my next level, right? And so, that I love motorsports. And as far as race cars go, man, they move my body for sure. I love fucking race cars, right? But two wheels, bro, like, man, they fucking move my soul, man. And so, know that you didn't stop riding because you got old. You got old because you stopped riding, my friend, man. And then, for all my men out there, right? Like, know that the only thing better than a street bike is a woman riding a street bike. Yo, I'm driving the checkered flag deep into the ground, and I'm calling all the motorsport enthusiasts who want to improve their situation. Let's break free from all the shit that's been holding us back, and let's become the badass motherfuckers that we're all meant to be. Breaking the stereotype is exactly what we're here to do. This movement is called Live Your Life Wide Open, and helping others level up is the mission that God has tasked us with. If by any chance you still haven't subscribed yet, bro, what the fuck you waiting for? Go ahead and smash that button so you never miss another episode. If you connected with today's message, if it resonated with you, if you vibe with it, man, do me a favor and share this on your story. And make sure that you tag me at Wide Open Randy, because those are the actions that help more gearheads to see and really hear about this podcast. And ultimately, that's how our community grows. I'll catch up with you on the next episode. But until then, live your life wide open, my friend. Peace.